Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nonsense Podcast. No, this is still the Cool Guy Podcast together with my wife,
Caroline.
And we've been on a hiatus. We've been away for some time.
Hiatus.
Yeah, so thank you to everyone who's messaged us about, hey,
Asking
where have you guys
where
have been? Yeah,
been.
I appreciate that. But yeah, we're back stronger than ever. And
People say that when they've been through something.
we haven't been through anything. So, okay, we're not stronger than ever then. But we're just back. We're just back, and we're going to call this.
We'll see.
We'll possibly change the name to.
No, we are changing the name.
The Nonsense Podcast.
The Nonsense Podcast.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think I kind of like that too because.
Reality is, whatever we say in our point of view is nonsense to everybody else.
Maybe not everyone, but definitely some people. It
can be, though.
Yeah, it absolutely can be. Yeah. So it's up to you to make sense of what we say. And if not, then it's nonsense.
Nonsense.
Yeah.
So we got to change the little logo thing.
Yeah. We'll figure all of that out. But first off, happy Mother's Day to my wife that's sitting in front of me. I hope you felt good today.
Thank you. I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You felt celebrated and appreciated?
Yeah, it was a good day.
Good. Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there listening to us. You're doing a good job, regardless of, all the difficulties that you may be experiencing, but only a mom can do what you do. And just the fact that you were able to push a baby out of your body, like that in itself is a win.
Carry a baby. Yeah, you're right.
Right? And on that note, I want to say happy Mother's Day to those mothers that maybe were hoping that, oh my God, like this is it, and maybe had a loss. I have a few people in mind, and I don't know. I just felt moved to remind you to not give up.
Yeah.
Keep trying, keep believing, and we pray over your womb so that it can hold a baby, be fertile, and that you may give birth to a healthy baby boy or girl and enjoy motherhood. So I don't know why I wanted to say that, but whoever you are listening, I hope that encourages you. Caroline, sorry. I forgot that's your stage name.
That is my name.
I know, but it's weird to call you Caroline. But Caroline knows about losses, right?
You mean we know about losses?
Yeah, we do. What's something
it's this day is it's a fun and loving and exciting day, but then to others it can be a reminder of what they don't have and what they're longing for.
Yeah. And
I do believe that if you've been pregnant and have lost that pregnancy, you are a mother.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we will see those babies when we get to heaven, and they will be waiting for us. And, God knows why it happened. And I know that's not what we want to hear in that moment. Because I remember going through, some of the losses and people telling me like, Dios sabe por qué. And it's like, okay, but I want to know why,
It was hard.
But sometimes we are just the bridge to make sure those babies get to heaven.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And I don't know, but it is hard coming to this day and realizing I don't have yet what I want, and it's easy to feel upset and mad. And I mean, it's all those emotions are valid, but be encouraged. God's desire and his creation was for us to multiply.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know for some it's not easy, and for some we have a journey to get there, but if it happened with us, it can happen with you. And don't give up. Don't give up.
And that's for anybody that's experiencing it at any point in their life or their, because our very first conception of a child, you lost. Mm-hmm. And then we had Annabelle, and then we had Sophia, and then we had three more in between before we had Eliana, and each of them was difficult. Each of them was hard to deal with for you specifically.
Right.
But for me, the last ones that were the twins,
Right.
that's the one that really hurt me, not
Well,
just
I think
because
it was
of the hurt that I
just
saw
the
in you.
accumulation.
Well, yeah.
That's how I felt because the first loss before Annabelle, like I feel like we didn't know what we were losing.
Right. That's true.
So we didn't. Okay, well, it didn't happen. Yeah, I cried. I was in pain. Okay, but I feel like I recovered pretty quickly because I didn't have that sense of like, oh my gosh, like I'm losing.
Yeah.
I didn't know. But after having the girls, then it was like, oh my gosh, like this is horrible, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I feel like I kept pushing myself like, no, I gotta be strong. I have to, I can't let this, put me down. Like, so when the twins came and left, and that's when I had the surgery, that is when I really felt like my world was crashing. Like I fell into depression. I had these horrible thoughts. But I feel like it was an accumulation of not grieving the previous losses and just like moving.
Like making yourself think like it's okay. Like I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine.
I'm
like
going to be fine.
Trying to push through it.
And then with the twins, it was like, oh man, because then you have struggling with like what you're living and then faith.
Yeah.
And that sometimes can mess you up in the sense of like, you're trying to have so much faith, but it was hard. It was hard. And also like all the losses I had, they were all at different stages. So the furthest one was like almost 15 weeks. So, but yeah. So, I mean, it's very difficult. And then you're traumatized because then when I was pregnant with Ileana,
you didn't want to say anything to anyone.
Well, no. And we were in the middle of COVID, so that kind of helped.
Oh, yeah.
So some people, when they saw me a few months later, I was like with a bump and I was pregnant and I didn't want to find out what the gender was. And now I realize that like I was trying to guard my heart. I don't want to be too attached to the baby. I was open to whatever gender it was. But I was traumatized. Like every little thing I would feel, I would like freak out.
Yeah, I remember.
And when she was here, it was like, oh, like.
What a relief.
Yeah.
And then today at church, speaking of somebody that's been trying and has lost, like I told her, like, and I believed it. I was like, hey, happy future Mother's Day. Like, I mean, prophesying over her life that it's going to come to pass, and so anyways, if you've gone through this, be encouraged, know that you're not alone. And if you want to talk about it, off the air, as they say, please reach out to my wife, or you can reach out to me and I can connect you with her. And you're definitely not the only one, or there's nothing wrong with you. Like, it's just, unfortunately, we've been seeing a lot of that. Yeah, sadly. Yeah. So anyways, I pray for you. Be encouraged. Happy Mother's Day. And next year, you will have your baby in your arms celebrating together with all of the other moms.
Yes. Amen.
Right?
Yes.
Amen. So anyhow, we've been gone for a while.
Yeah.
We haven't gone through anything.
There's no specific reason.
Yeah, there's no specific reason. I think it's just been life.
Well.
Right? Like, I mean.
No, it's just priorities, honestly.
You think so?
Because.
So you mean that the people that are listening are not a priority?
I feel like we put this on the back burner, yeah. I don't know how much you want me to expose ourselves.
Expose ourselves?
I don't know, because last time you...
What?
Got offended.
Offended by what?
Do you want me to say it?
I guess so now, yeah.
I can't.
What did I get offended by?
No, because then you're going to tell me off air, like... I don't like.
Well, now it's too late. Now everybody wants to know what you're saying.
I think the priority in the sense of like we rather like right now. Okay, it's late. We could have gone to bed, but it's like, what did I say? Hey, like let's do the pod. Like, so, but other times it was like let's do the podcast. Okay, we will, and then we do something else, or we choose to go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, or
we choose to take our kids to practice, or we choose to take my parents that was visiting. Like,
we don't do it during the smack middle of the day. We do it when the baby's napping or at night. That's when we do it. I told you. You see?
No. I'm just trying to analyze what you're saying.
But yes,
you're wrong. But I'm analyzing it.
Marvin's dad was in town for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
or like 12 days, 10 days, whatever. He was here. That was how did you feel having him here?
It was good. It was good because the last time that he was here, Eliana had just been born.
Yeah.
For Christmas or like around Christmas time.
Week old.
Yeah, and I always felt like, even though we made a trip over there, how many times did she go? Just once, right?
Yeah.
So in her almost 4 years of life, 3.5 years of life, she's only seen him twice before this time. And yeah, one when she was born, which she doesn't even remember.
Right.
And then the second time when we went to Florida.
That's right. September.
Yeah. So I feel like he was missing out on a lot.
Yeah.
Because even with the other two girls, like, he saw them more frequently.
Did
but
he though?
Well, he saw them more. Like, I couldn't tell you how much more. Maybe a handful of times more.
He's only been up here. Okay, well, anyway.
No,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So the point that I'm trying to make is that it was nice. Yeah, it was nice for him to be here and see him spending time with the girls, and for him to see what he's missing out on.
Yeah.
Because they were, I know Eliana was a little hard to, if you know Eliana, she's hard for her to warm up to anyone that she doesn't know. And even though we try to prepare her and like, oh, grandpa, she would see them like on FaceTime. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, they would FaceTime, but I mean, that's not the same thing.
Right.
So now that he was here, it was nice to hear her like, grandpa,
calling
and the girls waking up and being like, hey, grandpa, like, I know he enjoyed that. He enjoyed that. I mean, obviously, we enjoyed it because there was a lot of things that needed to get done around the house.
Yeah.
And he's like a total handyman. Yeah, he's like a total handyman. So he built the girls' beds. He helped with the bicycles.
He put the lights out.
He put shelves up. Like, man.
I had a list.
Yeah, for real. So that part of it was awesome. Like, to feel like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he left his mark, pues.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like, especially now if we turn on the lights, it's like, oh yeah, like, he put those up. When I see the girls riding their bikes, like, oh yeah, he fixed those for it. Yeah, like, all of that stuff. The beds that they're sleeping in, like, yeah. So I'm happy that he was here. I'm happy that he was able to see our life. I think sometimes, we would tell them like, oh, we're like busy or we're, and it was just like, they can't be that busy. Yeah, and
okay, he did say that a few times, like, especially like the days that we have like practice and I have something and we go to church or whatever. He was like, oh, así es aquí entonces. And obviously them being here, what is helping us because we would leave Eliana. So we don't have to like drag her along on the rides or whatever. So she can just chill. And he's like, oh, sí, verdad.
So I enjoyed him being here, but mainly for the kids, like for him to keep building that relationship with them. Yeah. And next time we go to Florida or he comes here, I hope that it'll be easier, that transition of like, okay, yeah, I know who you are. So yeah, that's been great. And then my mom's still here. She was supposed to leave
when did she get here?
2 months ago?
March, beginning of April.
Yeah, because she came for Annie's birthday. She was already here.
I think she came like
a day or two before.
Wait, no, she came. Okay, no, she came
for her birthday,
like 2 days after her birthday, because we celebrated her birthday here. So let's say April, May, June. So 3 months. Okay, that's
still not enough time.
I mean, for her, she's probably like tapping out. I'm done.
Well, I mean, she's definitely helped us so much, and I think the part that I'm a little worried about is how Sophia's gonna act when she leaves.
Yeah, Sophia's gotten really attached to her. I mean, she always does when she comes, though.
But it's funny because, like, last night, I'm like, wait, they were in the room, both of them, and I'm like, what's going on in here? And Sophia's like, Dad, like, you need to go. Like, this is the time for my massage. And there's my mom giving her a massage and karate chopping her legs.
They're calling it pork chop. Yeah.
Yeah, and just, I mean, that's what Sophia likes is that quality time, and her putting the lotion on her body and just being there. Like, she's going to miss that. So I'm a little nervous about that. I know she's going to be fine, but, but I kind of like it because, Like that's what I've always imagined, you know,
Right.
like
No,
when
yeah,
when we started our family, it was like, you know, if my mom wants to be a part of our life, I
Yeah.
want her to be a part of our life.
Well,
And
yeah.
unfortunately, I mean, no, not unfortunately. Well, fortunate and unfortunate, because unfortunately they're so far, but fortunately they're far because they're serving the Lord,
Yeah.
which is great. But this is what I envisioned. Yeah, like that relationship that they have with your parents to have with my parents.
Yeah.
And I feel like finally, like I'm seeing
Seeing
that.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seeing it, you know. And I mean, my grandma was a big part of my life growing up, and I know your grandma was a big part of your life too. So, you know, like they helped raise us.
Yeah, they did.
And basically, in these last months that she's been here, she's helped
helping
raise
us so
them
much.
in
Yeah.
whatever little.
No, and the girls are gonna remember that.
And that's my hope. Yeah, that's
They're
my
gonna
hope.
remember that, and I think she doesn't. Your mom doesn't realize how much she's helping us in the sense of like, well, I go to work and I don't have to worry about waking you up because you work at night. You know, it's just the little things that she probably thinks like
Yeah.
I'm just here, but it's like no, like it's a huge help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So are you still off social media?
Yeah, well, yes, on my personal page, I haven't logged on. I haven't.
You're missing out on all the messages that you've received from people wondering if you're alive.
I I doubt that. I do log on every now and then on the business page because I have to be kind of active on there.
C&J Permanent Jewelry. Go check it out if you haven't yet.
So I do have like, so what I did on my phone was I put the app like on the last page. So and I turned the notifications off. So I have to.
Yes.
So I don't get the notifications, but I have to be like. So I try to check at least once a day, but sometimes honestly I do forget. But what I like the last time I go to the bathroom at night, like I'll check.
And
like,
what's the biggest difference? It's been 5 months now. So what has been the biggest difference in these 5 months that you can say being off of social media?
Well,
like what have you gained or what have you learned?
So much peace. I'm just kidding. No, well, I'm not wasting time on the reels.
Like right now I'm picking up my phone to go on social media. I'm just kidding. Go.
I believe you. I'm not looking at the reels. Okay. So much because that was like dangerous. I would go on there and just scroll. So overall, I feel like I'm not on my phone as much. And if I am, I'm literally texting somebody or messaging somebody on Messenger or looking something up. But I'm not like on a social media app. And the other thing is like I'm not like snooping around to see what people are doing. So they can be doing something fun without me.
They're like living their life.
My feelings won't be hurt because I wasn't invited. Like that type of stuff. Like so unless you tell me, hey, like so and so baby was born, I won't know. Yeah. You know? Or they had this huge party and you weren't invited. Like what? You know? So really like I feel like I'm literally living in my bubble.
But you really haven't missed out on much. Like, there's just been a few things that I'm like, oh, did you hear? Or did you?
Yeah,
I'm like,
you go off. Did you see? And I'm like,
see? And I'm like, well, no, you didn't.
And then on the business page, we don't follow anybody. I don't think so. We follow like business.
Yeah.
So even when I go on there, I'm like I look at the messages, and then there's like one other business friend that she's always posting like her hat stuff. So that's always cool to look at. But then it's like, all right, like I try to log out as fast as I can. If I have to answer any messages, I will, or I'll go back and forth with like people messaging. But it's not like personal people that I know, you know?
And do you feel more spiritual?
No.
Like, do you feel okay? But like, seriously, like, has it? I know. Well, I guess that wasn't your intention to get closer to God, and because you didn't really.
I wasn't far from Him.
Right. Like, I mean.
No. Okay. No. But here's the thing: if people are on social media and they're not doing their devotions and reading and talking to God, I can see how it can be like hindering, because all your extra time is on social media. So when are you really gonna, you know? I have, though, been waking up earlier and going on either a walk or a bike ride. And that's when I listen to my podcast, I pray, I have been reading, like, just remember I was talking about Genesis the other day. I was like so into that book.
Yeah.
But then like I don't know. I feel more spiritual, but I feel like it doesn't have to do with social media.
No, yeah, I get it.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
But I have noticed that, you'll leave your phone around, just laying around.
I have to ping it to know where it is. The other day I was in the bathroom. I think you were in there with it. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
Looking for my phone. Which I kind of like, though. Like, today I was in the car half of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I went to get it was because it kept telling me I was in driving mode.
Which is weird.
And I was like, where is it? But, yeah. So I kind of like that, too, because I felt like I had to have it on me all the time. So now I leave it somewhere, and I don't really, and so I need it. But so what have I gained from it? I mean,
just more time, maybe.
Yeah, like time away from my phone.
Well, no, what I mean is, like, I have noticed a dramatic increase in time, and it's not that you weren't spending time with the kids before, but like more intentional about spending time with them, like the bike rides and just I can't think, like you have other things going on, like the Spanish classes and this and that, but like the fact that like it seems like like you're being more intentional about spending time with them.
Well, and I thank you for noticing, because I feel like I have tried to put that as a priority, because before I would like try to take a nap. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I wouldn't, because I would just be scrolling, right? So now I'll be on my phone if I do lay down, and I'll be like on Pinterest, and which is also kind of dangerous.
I was gonna say, is that like a door that's gonna open into Instagram and Facebook again? Because I consider that social media.
Well, I usually start off with like searching something like blah blah blah, and then if I'm not careful, I do start scrolling. It doesn't take me to Instagram, but there is a ton of stuff on there. So if I see that, like, okay, 8 minutes have passed by, I'm not like falling asleep, I'll just get up.
Okay.
And the girls are always down for something. But I feel like, okay, before the bikes, it was just me being with them. I would take them out here or go for a walk or something. But lately we've been riding the bikes around.
And just another update. I know we had talked about having chickens.
We already gave them that update.
Did we?
Yeah,
I feel like
chickens.
It's been so long. That's why.
Yeah, you're like disconnected from your audience.
I know. That's why I'm trying to like make sure that we're all on the same page again.
No chickens yet. We want some.
Yeah, but we can't have any right now.
Not any here. We do have a rabbit. He's still alive.
Oh yeah, we have a rabbit. Did you tell that story?
Wait, we already know.
Oh man, I'm like so lost.
You are. You should listen to your own podcast. And then Lucy's still alive.
Lucy's still alive. Yeah. All right. Well, the only thing that I really wanted to like really talk about, like other than like mothers and all of that, was Jesus.
Yeah.
Like Jesus was so loving.
Yeah.
And he just was so compassionate. And he was just so understanding.
Okay.
And I feel like we're stuck on only that part of Jesus's character, and we ignore the fact that he rebuked his disciples. We ignore the fact that he rebuked sinners and he rebuked the Pharisees, and he had a temper, I guess you could say, for the things that were wrong. And that's the point that I'm getting to, is that I feel like, man, like we've gotten so
soft.
Yeah, we've gotten so soft in church that, like, whenever you need to say something to someone, you have to find the most loving words to say and the most like encouraging way to, say something to someone, because you're afraid that you're not reflecting who Jesus was. And then they see it that way, like, oh, well, Jesus was loving and he was compassionate. Yeah, bro, but he also went into the freaking church and threw over tables because he didn't like what was happening in the church. Yeah. And he also rebuked his disciples because they couldn't stay awake while he was praying, and they weren't watching over him. Like, and I feel like we need to remember, obviously, his commandments was to love.
Right.
Absolutely. But I feel like we have taken that and just made it like everything is okay or everything is fine because everything is covered with love.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah.
So I don't like, how do I say it? Like I wish that we could go back a few years where it seemed like there was more accountability
Yeah.
and not just
Oh, that's like a few years back.
yeah, and not just oh everything is fine because Jesus loves you, Jesus forgives you, which he does, like he does. But I feel like because we've taken such a soft stand on things, those types of mistakes, errors, sins, whatever you want to call them, continue to happen because it's like, oh well, like Jesus will forgive me, he loves me, so you need to love me and forgive me too.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, like Jesus rebuked the sinners, like, and sometimes I feel like we need, and he even said like that he loves those that like God loves those that he corrects, or that, you know what I'm saying. And I feel like, yeah, like we're just picking and choosing.
Well, yeah, that's just
the easy parts, which, I mean, yeah, Jesus said his yoke was easy. Like, I get that. But I just feel like we need to toughen up. Yes. Thank you. We need to toughen up because I feel like it's having more of a negative impact than we think. I believe. Because then when somebody sins, like we're just patting them on the back and it's like hey man, it's okay. Like, well, I know it's
okay, but what about grace? What about it?
Yeah, like what?
No, like, okay, because
okay, but by grace, we're not kicking them out of the church. We're not humiliating them in front of the church like they used to have to do back in the day, But so, I mean, I think the grace is, yeah, like, all right,
because
bro.
that's what people will say is like, we need to be like loving like Jesus and blah, blah, blah. Everything that you mentioned. But then we need to show grace. And I feel like that's where it's like become like, oh, let me just pat you on the back when you're not doing something right, you know, and keep going. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like what you said a few years ago, like when I was growing up, like my youth pastor was all up in my business, like talking about accountability. What are you doing? Where are you at? What did it drive me crazy? Absolutely. Like, absolutely. Was I annoyed? Heck yeah. Did I want to do whatever I wanted to do? Of course.
But look at you now.
But did it save me from a lot of mistakes? Yeah. And if they weren't there in my business, what would have happened?
Yeah.
But,
and again, I'm not saying like, oh, you need to publicize what you, no. Because, I mean, well, you guys know, like, I'm not perfect and I've made mistakes and I've had to had serious talks with your parents. And it's like, oh my God, like, and so I'm not by any means trying to say like, oh, like I'm perfect. And no, I'm just saying like, I feel like we don't have a backbone as a church anymore. Like we've lost the boldness because we're afraid of hurting somebody else's feelings.
Yeah.
Like the words inclusive, like I feel like that has come to make us walk like, yeah, we feel like we're walking on eggshells and everyone needs to be included. Everyone like, like,
yeah,
do you get what I'm saying?
No, I do.
So that's been the biggest thing I think that's been, in my spirit recently, like just like we need to be bold again and not be so, oh, I'm sorry. We apologize for everything.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a few years now, but remember, I remember telling you like, I don't want to apologize anymore. Because I would apologize all the time.
Yeah.
For everything. And sometimes the girls say it.
And I tell them, I'm like, no, you don't need to apologize. Just don't do it.
And you do it sometimes too.
Yes. It's a hard thing to break for sure.
Especially when it comes to the girls being kids in public, there's certain things that they're kids, and you tend to like, oh, I'm sorry. But it's the same. Yeah, but I feel like it, like you said, it's hard to break. But I remember being that way a few years back when I would just like for everything like apologize. But it is also just how do I say it? Like a culture, maybe? I don't know. Like if it's.
I think the whole apologizing thing.
But like, yeah. But like now, too, like we have like what you just said. We have to be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, this goes to something that is obviously gonna get a few eye rolls and maybe is even a little controversial. But I feel that we've bought into what the society says is the representation of a certain generation. Like, okay, Gen Z is this, and Gen X, well, they're this way, and you have to talk to them this way, and they have to, and this is the way that they act. Like, I feel like we have embraced what society has labeled our generations, and I feel like that is probably the biggest reason why we are where we're at now.
Yeah. Well, I'm none of those generations, and neither are you. I'm a millennial.
Right. No, yeah. So anything that comes after a millennial, I think is where.
Okay, but even with millennials, like I feel like there's two types. There's the younger millennials that are like borderline Gen Z that kind of fall in that category too of like everything we're talking about. And then there is the other millennial side that is maybe, I don't want to say old school, but yeah, like I guess in the sense where like they haven't fallen into the no backbone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it starts where the generation Y, I think, and then the alpha generation, and then yeah, just again, I think we've been taught to allow society to label our generations with, oh, they have a small attention span, and you know, they're this and they're that and they're here and they're there, and we've embraced those attributes that society has given us. And I feel like, well, yeah, they're the now, they're not anymore the future. Like they're now, you know, they're here now, and they're the ones that are running offices, and they're the ones that are running, you know, governments, and they're the ones that are running, you know, like high CEOs and all of that, with the attributes that society says that they have. So then the identity that we've received from God and Christ gets lost, I feel. Yeah. Like, and again, and listen to me again, I feel the need to break down more what I'm saying, because, oh my God, like I don't want anybody to feel offended. Like I'm even catching myself doing that right now. But yeah, I think
I think because we don't want to be seen like the bad person.
Yes. Like the ones that don't understand, the ones that don't know how to. And I think
that's my battle often. It's like, okay, it's not that I don't understand.
Right. You just don't want to be the bad guy. Right?
Yeah, no. Okay. It's not that I don't understand what's going on. It's not that I'm not aware. It's that I'm choosing not to be that way.
Okay. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. That's what it is.
So with our girls, we don't talk to them like that. I don't think we do.
Not in a very delicate way, no. You should hear the way I talk to them.
But why is it that to other people we do that? I catch myself too. Like I have, like if I'm talking to somebody, I have to make sure that my words are okay. That I have to break down like, oh, this is my opinion.
Tiring.
This is what I feel. This is what I think. I'm not saying that what you're thinking and saying is wrong. Like, I want you to feel like, you know.
I don't want you to feel valid. You have to feel validated. You have to feel like all these words that just, I feel like that's the issue. Yeah. You know, so anyways, what am I trying to say with all of this is just, you know, yes, let's continue to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, because, I mean, it is about salvation. But while we're here, it's about molding our character, you know? And yeah, Jesus, there were a lot of things that he didn't tolerate, you know? And I think I'm not telling you how to, you know, approach people or deal with people. Like, you're going to do it the way that you want. But I guess I just needed to let that out. and just let people know that I'm not rude, I'm not mad, I'm not compassionate or understanding. It's just, yeah, I mean, I speak things, this is the way that they are, kind of thing. Yeah. Old school, as many will call it, because of my age and whatever. And even in meetings, like sometimes I say things and I look at people looking at me like, bro, like we're not in that generation anymore, but
I mean, no, we're not. But I think this is where we got to remember, like, if we're talking about gospel stuff, like the Bible never ages,
Exactly.
And this is where, like, I do admire your mom that she'll say often, like, well, that's not biblical. Yeah. And it's true. Like, we got to live by what the Bible says. And that it never ages, So I feel like people look at me and I feel like I'm in that category too of like, I'm just an older soul.
But do you
when
think
it comes with stuff with the church and ministry and how we're raising our kids, like,
but do you think that some might think that we come off like we're better than them because we're harder, or because, like, does that kind of make sense?
I mean, I want to believe no.
Right, obviously.
But I can see how they will believe that.
Yeah.
Because of the generation or of whatever atmosphere is created. Do you know everything that we're saying? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're going to lose some followers.
Whatever.
We don't have many to lose, but I mean.
But do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's just a really hard topic for me to specifically pinpoint, or no, it's a hard topic for me to really gather my thoughts and express them the way that I see them playing out in my mind. And I feel like people are more book smart right now.
Okay.
And that in itself is a reason for them to look down on me.
Right.
Because I'm not, like, I tried 2 years of college and I was like, no, I'm done. Like, this is not for me. Which, I mean, I'm against the whole school system, and I don't believe in college. And you should listen to this guy named Charlie. Oh my God. I'm going to think of his name. He's a guy that I found on TikTok, and man, I love this guy. Like, I feel like he can say the things that I wish I could say thoughtfully and intelligently speaking.
Yeah.
And he goes to like universities and he'll just have a debate with people about, why he thinks that college is a waste of time, a waste of money. And, and yeah. Charlie, I'm going to look for his name.
Opinion, right?
Yeah, that's our opinion. Yeah. But
they're
anyhow,
probably gonna be like, look at them. That's probably why they are the way they are.
So anyways, I just wanted to talk about that because, I guess I'm tired of, it's exhausting having to be so careful with what you say, how you say it. And I'm not.
Well, okay. But I think that goes like just in the culture right now. Like yesterday I was at this Mother's Day event and we were passing out these little like bouquets to the moms. And I couldn't just assume that they were moms. But then how do you ask them without offending them? So I was like, are you out celebrating Mother's Day? Oh, no, I'm like, okay, she's not a mom.
Yeah.
Or are you out celebrating? Oh, yeah, I left my kids at home. Oh, But, and when I was like, are you a mom? I'm a dog mom. And I'm like, I laughed like that. And then she just stared at me like she was dead serious. And I'm like, oh, okay, well,
these are for real moms.
I'm like, but again, I felt like nervous to ask, like, hey, like, and after that one, I just asked, like, are you out celebrating Mother's Day?
The guy's name is Charlie Kirk. And I think he's like also like around my age, maybe mid, I'd say early 40s, maybe. Okay. That's what he looks like. But just listen to him like that. Just listen to him, listen to the points that he makes, and you may or may not agree with him. But I definitely think that he brings at least the debate on certain things, and for you to like, oh, okay, maybe
think about it.
Yeah, at least, open up the your mind for a different perspective. But all right, guys. Well, we're back. No. We're back.
We're back today.
We're back today. Yeah, there you go. We're back today. And no, we're gonna be back like stronger than ever, babe.
Ride or die.
Yeah. So we're back. Thank you so much for your patience and for just thank you for keeping us. Like, how do I say it? Like, just sending us a message and just caring, like, hey, like, what happened, So I appreciate that. And we'll have more things to talk about again. I think it was just more like, let's just put something out there because we need to get back into the rhythm of doing it. And yeah, now that we're doing this, like, I miss doing it. So
oh my gosh,
we're going to leave it at that.
All right.
Anything else that you wanted to say?
We also mentioned we were going to bring guests on. So
we did talk about that. We talked about having guests on, and we're still exploring. Well, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. The equipment that I'm using is very specific, and I need somebody that knows how to specifically use what I have. So if you know how to use GarageBand and you know how I can have a setup with at least 3 microphones, like, do I need an interface? Like, what do I need to make this all come together? So GarageBand, 3 microphones. What else do I need to record live?
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was what was holding you back.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
So anyways, all right, guys, follow us on Instagram, The Cool Guy Podcast, and thank you for listening on YouTube, all the major platforms, Spotify, Apple, iTunes. No, what is it? Apple Podcast. There we go. Apple Podcast.
iTunes.
Yeah, Google Play, all of that. So we'll see you for sure in a week.
Okay.
Maybe even this Friday. We'll see. We have to get back into the swing of things. But all right, guys. Happy Mother's Day once again. God bless you guys. And we'll talk to you soon.
Have a good week.
Bye.